Welcome in, Monday edition. Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss put forth a valiant effort on Saturday, falling to number one Auburn 92-82 at the Pavilion, and now starts a pretty pivotal stretch of games for the Rebels as they are analytically favored and a good many moving forward here for a little bit, including Tuesday night, number whatever they are, Kentucky. I don't even know now. They're coming off a loss to Arkansas and John Calipari on Saturday at Rupp Arena. So we'll talk some basketball and some other details here with you this morning. I'm starting a great week and hope you stop by all Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi. That includes here locally in Oxford with the Oxford Exxon. You got Sweet Daddy's locations, ribs, pulled pork, side items, desserts, and plenty more with all those options across the state. Again, Macomb, up and down I-55, and more. And again, we're coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. Again, 662-257-1900. Guests will join this week on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Obviously, we're getting a good bit of basketball. I saw this morning, it's 17 years since Eli and the Giants knocked off the Patriots and they were trying to finish the perfect season. And I went, oh my God, 17. Like that was one of the ones where, hey, where was I? What was going on? And you go, God, that was almost 2 decades ago right now. Like, time kind of got me right there a little bit. I was like, whoa, okay. Because, I mean, I think at the time, obviously, the most watched Super Bowl of all time and whatnot. That was the David Tyree catch.
Oh, yeah.
The 17-14 win for the Giants over the Patriots. Kind of cementing Eli at that point.
It was a great game. Giants defense probably doesn't get enough credit for what it did that night.
Yeah, it was a Patriots team who had the most touchdowns and the most points in NFL history that season, and they scored 14 points. They were up 14-10 with whatever was left, like a couple minutes, 2.5 minutes, whatever it was for that drive, and they had the conversion on the Tyree catch, and then Eli had a touchdown kind of on the left side to go ahead. I don't know who called it. I have no idea. But
that was not the I can't think of his name. The guy that ended up shooting Plaxico Burress. That was him. Was in the first one, right?
This was the first one, right?
So
yeah,
Burress,
this was the first one.
Burress caught the touchdown.
Did he? Okay. Yeah, I didn't know who caught the touchdown. So that was that in Tyree, and then the second Super Bowl with the Giants was the Manningham play. And the second, am I losing you a little bit now?
I think so. Yeah, he made the catch on the sideline.
Yeah. I think that's right. So 17 years from that, I was like, whoa, wow, just kind of lost a little bit. Yeah, I watched a little highlight film of it this morning, and we're like, the Giants really underachieved some of the season. It was like they went 10-6. It's like they weren't chopped liver. Now they were the 6th seed or whatever they were in the playoffs because it was a stacked NFC. That was a 3 playoff team division, and the other NFC divisions only had 1 team. Only the winners got in. So both wild cards came from the NFC East that season, with the Giants being one of them. So
it was Giants, Eagles, Cowboys. Is that right? Or Redskins or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. I'm not sure on that one. So either way, just we have a lot of these feel old moments right now. I feel like I'm having a few even at 41, and that was one of them. God, 17 years. Okay. I know you're in a week here, so whatever's going on.
I'm good though. I'm good. I mean, that's it is what it is. We're good to see what happens tomorrow and go from there. Cheer and hope and see what happens.
You do any superstitions for that?
Nope. I didn't allow myself to get down that road this year.
You don't stay with sweatshirts or hats or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Absolutely no.
Because you did last year, then is what you're telling me. Okay.
Yes. So there's no. I told myself I'm not doing.
It didn't work. It didn't whatever.
Well, it's just not. It becomes a thing where you're hostage to it. And so I never got there.
G-Man, gauging excitement level of this Super Bowl. How many jalapenos on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 or 2.
Yeah, it's not much.
I have no excitement level at all.
I was trying to gauge just culture at large more than myself,
Oh.
but even so, not high. I know we have the off week in the middle, but it doesn't feel buzzy at all.
No, I mean, I'll turn it on. That's about as far as I can commit to it. I mean, I'm not trying to be. If it were Buffalo in it, I think I'd be locked in. If the Commanders were in it, I think I'd be kind of locked in. But I'm not super interested. And I think I'm for Philly, but I don't care.
I'm definitely for Philly. That's not even a. I mean, again, I'm not emotionally tied to it, but yeah, no, I'm clearly and unequivocally for Philadelphia.
I mean, if you tell me that Butker lines up to kick a 48-yard field goal at the end,
you don't want it to go in.
But if it does, I won't even have 1 second of disappointment. I'm uninvested.
I guess I am okay. I'm not emotionally invested, but I guess I am a little more invested than I'm thinking, because if the Chiefs are winning, I will stop watching. I do not want to watch them win the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the fourth quarter where they're up 14 points, I'm good. I don't need to see the victory lap.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just sort of hit my feel of it. I'm done. Andre, how I feel about this game is how Neal feels about the house settlement. It's probably a valid comparison there.
Tyler will send the agenda for today's show at some point, and it will probably have something about that, and I'll just go.
At least you know it's coming.
Yeah, I just have no new thoughts.
There is nothing at this point that is where you're going to spray it and go, oh, well, I'll tell you what, this is changing everything. Let me outline my entire opus and my MO here.
I will say
the whole deal.
I will say that Saturday I went out to Ole Miss's junior day, and I did ask some NIL rev share questions. You can tell it catches high school juniors off guard, but it's like, hey.
This either has already been your world or it's about to be your world.
One or the other. I just said, has that been discussed yet? When do you think that gets discussed? How big of a factor is that? And they just look at you like you got a big rattlesnake coming out of your ear. I don't blame them, but
is what it is.
Someone said, when do we start asking about this? And I said, I've been doing it all morning. I mean, the answer is now.
Did anyone give an astute answer?
No. Okay. And that's probably still early. You know, it's like the kid that's a high school sophomore right now. I know he's finishing his sophomore year. He'll be a junior next season, but they're still a ways away. What are you even asking those guys? Recruiting is interesting. Lots of recruiting coverage at rebelgrove.com. A lot of it up there. I was out there for several hours, wrote for several. I went straight from there to the pavilion and wrote for like 2.5 hours on Saturday. So if you want to read about it, it's there. A lot of
some intent thoughts as well.
Yeah. Well,
right.
No,
you had one note, didn't you?
No,
it was not actually recruiting.
Those were current players.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah,
I skimmed.
Talked to Jalen Braxton, Bryson Sanders, and William Eccles.
Gotcha.
In 10 thoughts.
Yes. There you go. A lot of stuff in 10 thoughts to read it brought to you every week. Is the Chiefs dynasty more or less hated than the Patriots dynasty? Is it too early to accurately gauge? Patriots dynasty lasted 20 years. It's a little different, lengthy. Patriots were easy to be the villain. Chiefs aren't as villainous in the same way.
The Patriots were villainous. The Chiefs are obnoxious.
Yeah, there's a difference. Like, the Patriots were completely out of central casting. Northeast team that's arrogant and grumpy. And
pretty boy villains. Quarterback.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like, the script writers would have gone, hey, Aaron, knock that down a little bit.
Right.
Too much there, Sorkin. Not enough. Like not exactly right. Yeah, the Chiefs are just If you don't, I mean, because it's the same thing. If you don't like the Chiefs, you don't like the Chiefs. Like almost all defense of them is Chiefs fans going, "Hey, but it's like, but you don't count. Like you love them, it's fine."
Who's the Super Bowl halftime person this time?
Kendrick Lamar after winning 5 Grammys last night.
Oh,
all in the same song.
Did you watch any of the Grammys?
I haven't watched Grammys in 30 years. I mean, we make fun of me already for not listening to music. The Grammys are completely. I did not know the Grammys were on until I woke up and checked X this morning. That's when I found out the Grammys were on.
Kanye West's wife? Did you see her?
Sorry, I did see that.
Did you see her dress?
I did see the saran wrap or whatever we want to call the lack of fabric that was covering her being last night. Yes. I got nothing. I got nothing.
She looks like she's being held hostage. Bless her heart. I mean, come on. There's not a woman on earth who, you know what I'll do? I'll go naked.
And if so, we need vast mental tests. Like, what's up?
Yeah,
it's.
Yeah.
And their 32-year-old didn't care to watch it. Yeah, I don't know what age range is a lot of Grammy audience.
Got to be really young, right?
Real young.
Real young. Teenagers.
If you're in your 30s, it might be too much.
Yeah.
For exceptions, again. Somebody's going to, but I just in general. Yeah, it's whatever. I am not up on the Kendrick Lamar Drake feud, so I had no real feelings or opinions or even information regarding that situation as it played out.
I didn't either. My music exposure, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, is pretty much relegated to whatever when I do like guided runs or whatever on Peloton, whatever they feed me.
Do you get to set the genre or anything?
Nah.
Really?
I just go with whatever.
What kind of stuff is it?
Different
is it pop?
Yeah, some pop, some older stuff. It's fine. I don't really care. It's just something I just need. I have learned that I now do better if I have someone talking to me, even though they're not actually talking to me.
No, they're just there for you. Yeah, they're just there to root you along.
But if I allow myself to just pretend that they're actually talking to me, I actually do okay. Like, hey, let's just grind through this 6-minute segment. I'm like, okay, 6 minutes. Let's do it. Otherwise, I start getting off in my own thoughts, and then it's over.
That's not the place we want to be.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
You do the thinking for me. Tell me what to think.
Do they change the song every interval is what it is?
Yeah, they do different songs and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And they kind of talk through it, give you some.
See, this requires you to take your phone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gotten worse as the phones keep getting larger and larger and larger. I feel like I'm carrying an iPad with me at this point if you take your phone with you, too. So that's completely out at that point. G-Man says he runs to piano music sometimes to help regulate heart rate.
I tried that one time, and it just didn't work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Classical.
I did a classical run, like thinking maybe. No.
That didn't get the juices flowing.
Just never got going.
Yeah, that didn't get it done at all in any capacity.
But I ran an hour. I'm up to an hour and 15 minutes. Did it Friday and again yesterday. So
I saw you. Came by.
Did you?
Yeah, I was grabbing the thing from under the door. You were down here.
I was
a few houses down.
I was getting rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, you were out there grinding. You got a good week for it. Over for anybody in the South, we're up in the 70s all week this week. Getting a little bit of a false spring. We're getting the false spring week this week.
Yeah, there will be more cold. And people will whine and bitch about the cold. It's like, it's coming. You know it's coming. And so when it comes, it's just cold. It's going to get cold again in late February. It just does. That's the way it works.
obviously hit a ton of basketball after the break. We'll carry on with this for a minute to get there. I saw Super Bowl ad rates had hit another high. Some of them going for as many as $8 million per spot. Now this season, they had some insurance companies who are in the middle of some struggles because of all the California wildfires and different things. They've asked for relief from their Super Bowl obligations because they can't afford it right now, or don't know where their situation is. So they have resold all those at higher record rates. So yeah, you're up over you're up over 8 million on Super Bowl spots at this point. Even the post game show is getting a little over 4.
Oh,
is where it's looking at.
That's a
4 million on a post game show.
That's a gamble, isn't it?
Well, you're going to bed. It's a Sunday. There's work the next day. As much as we talk about that being a holiday, if your team's not winning, are you that focused on the post game show? I mean, I get that
Well, what if you're like the majority of the people that don't? This isn't one of your teams. Are you even watching the post-game show?
I know that whatever follows the Super Bowl is always one of the top 100 watch programs of the year, but I think that's simply TVs being left on. I don't think that's active viewing in any way.
So that's people that are drunk,
fall asleep,
TV's on. People that the TV's on and they start cleaning up the Super Bowl stuff.
Yeah, always.
You got to clean up the queso and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're not really actively watching. It's just on. You're getting the grill put up. You're washing the glasses. You got whatever. You're taking the trash out. You just leave the TV on, but you're busy at that point. If you had a Super Bowl party, or if you were at a Super Bowl party, you're driving or Ubering, hopefully.
What's the what's the right spread for Super Bowl parties? What do you want? What do you get? 3, 4 items. What are you going with? Wings is the champion.
Yeah,
like you can't do non-wings.
It's wings, some sort of chips and dip, whether it's queso or whatever.
You tend toward queso over like a bean dip or one of those like 7-layer deals.
I mean,
or
Carson,
some of that stuff.
Carson always liked he'll probably go someplace else for the Super Bowl. Probably depending on what happens this week, but he always liked the Velveeta, the
Rotel.
Thank you.
Yes,
I couldn't think of the word Rotel.
With or without beef or sausage?
Usually with.
It's better with.
Yeah,
it's best with sausage.
Of course,
sausage more than beef to me.
And it's better.
Sausage
with
is the win.
Real cheeses as opposed to that Velveeta stuff.
Okay, but we all are very comforted by the Velveeta. We've had it, we know it, we love it. Like it's we convince ourselves it's a step above the stuff you get out of the machine at the LSU press box. Like it's a little higher quality than that. Can't wait to go back and doctor my hot dogs with the chili and the processed cheese.
So it's that, and then I don't know. I mean, someone said sliders. That's maybe right. Something along those lines.
It's one of my, I'm fully admitting you don't have to create a message board post. It's one of my dumbest food takes, but it's how I feel. I don't like tapas and sliders. I'd rather the full size thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Like just something about I'm like, no, I'm good. I never order sliders. Like it doesn't feel substantial to me in some way.
But on the Super Bowl,
it's different.
That's kind of the point, right?
Of course. We're not serving full burgers and whatnot.
I mean, you could. I'm sure lots of people just order pizza and be done with it.
Yeah, I'm guacamole is my number 3 out of salsa, any kind of cheese or guacamole. I have guacamole third,
and I like it.
It's fine.
But yeah. I mean, one of my weaknesses is like a really good queso. My level of resistance to that is low.
Tortilla chip, Frito. What are you putting in it? You don't care?
Preferably tortilla chips,
really?
But I can do Fritos too. If it's a good,
not gonna yell at it.
If it's hell, I can pull out some Triscuits if it's a really good queso. I'm good.
Hey, where's those wheat thins?
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, I would prefer tortilla chips, but if they're not available, I can make something happen. That's one of my favorite things.
I do miss when Jeffrey was here because he always had really good Super Bowl spreads. I always did the I mean, a little bit of everything. Just rate it.
So have you tried the wing dust yet?
No, what are we doing?
It's like, I think Cosmo makes it.
All right.
It's called wing dust.
So it's dry seasoning.
Yeah, and you do the wings. I guess you could fry them.
Okay.
I basically smoked them, baked them on the Big Green Egg yesterday, naked.
All right.
what I did was I put them in a bag with just a little bit of cornstarch,
All right.
just to dry them out a little, and then I did them on the egg naked. Put them in like one of those stainless steel bowls,
Mm-hmm.
and you use a tablespoon per pound of wings,
All right.
and then you just sort of toss it. Like
Sure.
unbelievable, game changer.
What's the flavor profile?
The one I got, they have several. The one I got yesterday just to try was like a honey barbecue. Remarkably easy.
And I prefer either a very light sauce or a dry rub to a really wet wing. I don't care about that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I like. You got to work hard to find a wing that I won't like, but I prefer.
I mean,
the dry ones.
preference. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's Cosmo.
Look, wings are good. I'm not
Cosmo Q or so. I just remember Cosmo. I was at Shaw's, Ace Hardware. I needed to get some starters and some charcoal, and I was like, it looks interesting. So I gave it a shot, and it was really good.
That's funny. Jeez, my British friend said they used to have Super Bowl parties that started at midnight. They had rules to bring American snacks and beer. I asked what American snack, shrugged and said, I don't know, guacamole. Yeah, that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
That's the way that works. Grind makes a good point. One of the slaughter issues is the bread to meat ratio. It's a lot of bread because typically the protein,
right? But you could double up the beef on the slider.
Yeah, it's also the width. You want to make sure it covers the whole. It's kind of like when you put one of the little bitty tiny hamburgers on like white bread, and there's space on all sides. Because if you don't have a bun, you're going, okay, what do I do with this burger? And a lot of times you're having to figure out how to make that work. I prefer Wingstop to Wild Wings. So would you rather have Wild Wings or Wingstop? I'd rather have Wingstop.
Wingstop.
I do like a couple of the Wild Wings dry seasonings though.
Yeah.
I think it's Desert Heat. It's pretty good.
It's good.
They've got a couple that's all right. So
I have some freshness questions about Wild Wings, if I'm honest.
Oh, really? Blown away.
Yeah.
Shocked.
But I mean,
like most chains.
More so than usual.
Oh, really?
Last couple times.
Really?
Yeah, I've been disappointed.
Would that come from not having enough volume to run through them, in your opinion?
I don't know.
Your chain restaurant knowledge is low.
Yeah, I mean,
see, Doris said Wingstop wings are too large. I like them a little bit larger.
That's what she said.
I had nowhere to go. Like I tried mid sentence, and when it is.
Once you let that curveball go, it's out of your hands.
Your knees buckle, and that's it. There's no recovery. It's like okay, good, all good. All right, we'll move on to basketball in a minute. Before we do that, speaking of all these type things, tell you about Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce. You can just go get all those, lay them out for your Super Bowl setup. They've got spicy, they got not spicy. They'll take care of you. We've tried them here.
Yeah.
You can go back, check our reviews. We gave 3 of them very high marks. Flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. Those are on the spicy nugs. If you want to take the heat up a little bit, turn it up to 11. You pick a flavor, you grab some napkins, and you nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different name, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and everything in between, Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise necessary to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're in North Mississippi, let Window Hero make your home or business's exterior look amazing. Their experts are fully bonded and insured. Window Hero provides specialized equipment, exclusive cleaning solutions, a satisfaction guarantee, and they can clean up to 4 stories on buildings. Get in touch with Roby and Susan Allen. They're dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and everything in between. 662-510-7077 or windowhero.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with the personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Got 11 days until Valentine's Day. Got wedding season. There's a big wedding. One of my neighbors having a big wedding this weekend. It's that time of year. So if you're looking for gifts, go to Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lammon's Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, color stones, diamond jewelry, and much, much more at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. And we're brought to you by Argent Wealth. They're based in Ridgeland, Mississippi, with clients in more than 20 states. Argent provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. To learn more, go to myargentwealth.com.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford market, and they offer medicine to fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, everything you need when you need it with G&M. Also easy to transfer those medications. One phone call, they take care of the rest. So whether that's Oxford, Holly Springs, 662-236-2222. So Ole Miss falls 92-82 to the Auburn Tigers on Saturday afternoon at the Pavilion. Stayed competitive the majority of the game, played well. Auburn answered every single time. There was a possibility there. They showed why the number one team in the country. Fought off a lot there, but Ole Miss got to the free throw line, kind of continued what they did against Texas, got downhill at times. Brakefield really had a spurt there in that way. You were there, so I'll let you kind of take over. But there was nothing from that game for Ole Miss to hang a head on at all. You try to take that, you try to play in that way, in that capacity, and if you do so, you'll win some of the next 5 games and be in great shape.
Yeah, I'll leave names out of it because you'll be curious to hear this. I'll tell you about it later. After the game, I walked into the media room and someone said, "See, that's why Ole Miss just never is going to work in basketball." And I was like, "What? What do you mean? That was great."
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a fan tag. Let's be real. Our beat is loaded with fans.
Because you didn't beat the number one team in the country.
I mean, you didn't. Not only did you not beat them, but you made them play really, really well. I mean, let's. The other team tries too. Let's give some credit here. Auburn's really good. Auburn's lost 1 game this season at Duke. I got home Saturday. Aka was here. He's waiting for a couple of his buddies, and he had the Duke game on against Carolina. And Cooper Flagg's just beating Duke by himself. I mean, beating Carolina by himself. He's just going off. That's the only team that's beaten Auburn. And it was at Cameron Indoor. That's it. They did it. Cooper Flagg's really, 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 really good. And they're the only team that did it. Nobody else has beaten them. Newsflash, that means you're good. Look at the league standings and all the teams that have 4 losses.
A lot of quality teams up there.
Auburn hasn't lost a game. They had a size advantage over Ole Miss, and to their credit, they went to it, right? Bruce is a really good coach. Janai Broom, Ole Miss just doesn't have anyone to guard him. Dylan Cardwell, Ole Miss just doesn't have a body to put on him. And both of those guys were incredibly impactful. And then further, what they can do, and after the game, Sean Padula talked about this, and so did Chris to some degree, you have to kind of pick your poison. And if you trap them, well, they're tall, and they can see over the trap, and they make the pass. And then what Auburn did so incredibly well in key spots was they made the extra pass. So when you trap to get the ball out of Broom's hands, and he makes the pass, it's a simple math equation. At some point, you're scrambling. So you make the pass, you go to close out. If they don't take that shot and you're rushing to close out, well, someone else is open. And that's what Auburn did. They found that extra pass, got the open look, and made it. They went 14 for 28 from 3. Chris Beard had said after the game, if Auburn makes 14 of 28 threes, no one's beating them.
Yeah.
It's probably true. I asked Bruce about that. He goes, yeah, it's probably right. You know, Chris said we needed some of those shots to rim out. And they didn't. And Bruce said, hey, those were open looks. We knocked them down. He's not wrong. So it was just one of those games. But I thought Ole Miss kept the pressure on them. Yeah, they missed some free throws. At one point, I think they were 11 for 21 at the line. And you look at that and you're like, boy, you make 5 or 6 of those and this thing maybe feels different. And maybe you make Auburn not panic, but maybe you make Auburn press a little.
Of course.
Maybe you get in there, mess up their rhythms a little bit. Who knows? We'll never know because it didn't happen. But other than that, other than missing some free throws, I thought Ole Miss played a really good game. You knew they'd get beat on the boards. They did. But I thought Ole Miss was the more physical team for most of the game. They got to the free throw line. I think they ended up taking 35 free throws, which I think was like 10 or 11 more than Auburn took. I mean, so they did a lot of things that you had to do to win the game. I thought the atmosphere was incredible. They had all the kids waiting overnight. They did a great job with feeding them. Kudos to Funkies and all the people that did that made the kids feel special. And they showed up and they were loud and it was a great environment. Auburn brought a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. It was a big time. It felt like big time college basketball.
Yeah, and you were down 4. You were down 5 with 4.5 to go. I mean, you were right there.
You were down 1 with 8 to go.
Yeah,
you're right there. I mean, that's a step. And the team that beat you is legitimately good. They're a legitimate title contender, and you made them play well. It'd be one thing if you lost to Auburn and Auburn was out there kicking the ball all over the court and not.
Yeah, they had 25 turnovers and shot 21% from 3, and you went, oh, my God.
And they're not engaged, and maybe Janai Broom's smoking a cigarette coming up the court.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. They played really hard. Auburn played well, and you just weren't good enough. This isn't Bruce Pearl's second year at Auburn. That needs to be remembered. I know we're in a different era, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But that team has continuity, and you saw it. Cardwell's been there 5 years. Broom's been there a minute. They had guys step up and make buckets. They played really good defensively. I thought both teams played well defensively. For a game that ended up 92-82, I actually thought both teams were really active defensively, hands, that kind of thing. It was a good game. I think it's a game Ole Miss can build on. Now you got to build on it tomorrow night.
Yeah, you need to win it more.
But I think they can build on it. I don't. And then I kind of liked what Chris said. He goes, "Hey, the goal is to win these games, but the overall goal is to be able to win these games in March." Sean Padula talked about how we knew we could do this, but when you see yourself do it, it does build some confidence. I'm really curious to see what Ole Miss looks like tomorrow night. But give Auburn credit. That's the thing that I came away with was, wow, that's a really good team. They don't have any major flaws.
You answered in a tough environment every single time.
Every time. They answered every time.
Every time, one miss and maybe and you don't get it. They just go down, they hit a shot, they get a stop, they do something where you go, okay.
Yeah.
It takes a full 40 minutes.
Ole Miss only turned it over 6 times against that team. That's a big accomplishment. They probably didn't force quite as many turnovers as they were hoping to force, but
12, I think. Yeah.
But that's to Auburn's credit. Again, 14 for 28. They got open shots and they knocked them down. And that's what championship caliber teams do.
I mean, Ole Miss is up to number 3 in the country in turnover percentage. They just don't hand you the basketball.
No, they made Auburn beat them, and then Auburn beat them. And that's all you can do, right? I mean, but, I said this. I mean, Bruce Pearl is one of these kind of people that sometimes is kind of an ambassador for the sport a little bit. But he's not full of bullshit. He's not going to walk in after they beat somebody by 37 points and go, that team's really close. He's not going to do that to you. And he talked about how Ole Miss is close. He enjoyed the environment, had fun on Friday night. And there was a buzz out Friday night. Laura and I went out for a little while. There was a buzz out Friday night. It's credit to Ole Miss. They're building a program. It is going to take a minute. This team's not winning the national championship. They're not. This team's not going to the Final Four. I mean, look, if y'all make it to the Final Four and y'all use this as the thing to
then great.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go find somebody that'll go on the record and say they are going to the Final Four. I mean, I can think of a couple of local Twitter accounts that would probably do it for them, but you know my point. But
tomorrow, a really big game.
Tomorrow's a big game. You win it, and frankly, your path to the tournament is pretty simple.
Just don't do something dumb.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, you this week, you could all but wrap the tournament up this week if you win the 2 games.
Kentucky tomorrow night. Ole Miss now 16-6, 5-4 in the SEC at the turn, so 9 to go. 5 road games, 4 home games the rest of the way, if I'm doing the math correctly. Home games remaining Kentucky, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Road games, LSU, South Carolina, those are back-to-back. Vanderbilt, Auburn, and then the Florida Gators. So those final 2, last 3 games of the season, frankly, very difficult. Or 3 of the last 4, very, very difficult there. To close, Kentucky coming off a weird night for the Wildcats on Saturday at Rupp Arena.
Yeah and no. I mean, I watched some of that. The part that I watched, Arkansas just played really well.
That's kind of what I mean. You got Arkansas's absolute best shot of the season.
Yeah.
They played their best game they've played all year.
They played quite well.
They scored 46 points in the first half to get ahead, 89-79 final there by 10. Yeah, I kind of everything involved. I need to give a trigger warning to Ginger's husband if he's around. I thought Calipari sort of had a perfect trip all the way. Like, I thought he was even careful in some ways.
Ginger, just turn it off.
Yeah, I think probably just quit.
Turn it off.
Just stop. I thought even the way he seemed to publicly not even like upshow Kentucky on some interviews on the court and things. He got off the court. I mean, he did all the restaurants and thanking the people on the tarmac getting off the plane, and he shows up and they're booing him to start. And he had his team where, now look, they got to hit the shots, and I'm not acting like he coached them to victory here necessarily, but Arkansas could have easily either gotten rattled or gotten emotional in that environment with that situation. And they were just a calm basketball team that played basketball. I thought Arkansas's demeanor, which you got to give Cal credit for,
absolutely,
was exceptional on Saturday night. They just simply said, "We're playing basketball. You guys do whatever. We're just here."
They were
what happened? You had a little bit of a Rocky
team.
moment where it turned, and suddenly, no, we're pissed off at Pope and the Cats as it starts playing out, and it calmed. But it only kind of calmed because of that ability. I know they had the one scuffle there around trying to get the ball in. They had the techs and the things for a second, but otherwise, Arkansas kept their heads really well on Saturday.
The honeymoon
night.
is over.
Oh, fully back in the flow of the 8 to 5 and the frustration. Got some financial issues.
The bride got in the bed with tortilla chips, and she didn't even bother bathing. Just no. She had the cold cream on her face. Ain't nothing happening tonight, boss. That kind of deal.
It was one game, but it was a bad game for Mark Pope. Oh my God, it was a bad game for Mark Pope.
It was more than one game. He lost the weekend.
So this is going to set up for a hot take, and I understand that. Are we setting up for a Billy Gillespie situation with Mark Pope?
I'm not ruling it out.
Are we done in 24 months and we've moved on and we're going to the next thing?
I'm not ruling
He's
it
their
out.
guy now, local boy, whole deal.
I get it. He better win.
Alma mater doesn't love you back once it gets that place. That's only gold when it works. When it works, great, but it only works when it works.
I mean, Mike Shula's online too.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is too, but he ain't Jim Harbaugh.
No, for every Jim Harbaugh, there's
another list.
A Matt Luke and a Mike Shula and a lot of those.
Because Kentucky looked tight. They looked bothered by the moment. They just didn't look right. And they have flaws. They don't play defense.
No.
They're not athletic at times.
Arkansas almost scored 50 points in the first half. A credit to Arkansas. I mean, they've kind of adjusted to life without Boogie Fland.
Yeah.
Kind of figured a couple things out.
Sure.
And I thought they had a good plan and they played well. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a decent amount of it. I was mostly watching Thunder Kings, if I'm being totally honest. But, here's the problem for Kentucky at the end of the week. If Arkansas loses at Texas and then loses at home to Alabama, is that you lost to a team that's going to be 2-8.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Kentucky and I guess Arkansas goes on some winning streak here, you go, oh, well, see, it wasn't so bad. But it didn't.
It felt like one game.
It didn't feel like that. And Arkansas is a great example of the league this year. They're now 2-6,
mm-hmm.
And they're not bad. Anybody that I'm always careful with this because of the whole Arkansas thing. People go, they suck. I'm like, they really don't suck. They got 2 first-round picks. They don't suck at all. Adu Taro's a good player. Or Taro, how you say his name. He's a good player. The big foreign kid Z something. I mean, he can shoot the 3. He can go rebound. I mean, they got some dudes. Janelle Davis was a terrific player at FAU. They haven't figured out how to use him at Arkansas, but he's talented. They've got talent. This is a hard league, man. Like in a different league, Arkansas would be a tournament team. I might even go hot take and go any other league, they'd be a tournament team.
So Kentucky, they're 15-6, 4-4. They had a weird week. They beat Tennessee 78-73, then lose to Arkansas.
Yep.
So you go 1-1. That was coming off the Vanderbilt loss after that Tennessee game, very big for them. And then the rest of the way, Ken Pom has them going 9-9 in the league as of right now. They have some layups, at least analytically, as much as you can in this league. They're an 86% chance against South Carolina, 80 against Vandy, and 87 against LSU at home. They're not favored in another game the rest of the season. Now that would only be 7, but they have them at 9-9, thinking they're going to win a couple toss-ups. 38% at Missouri, 29% at home against Auburn. Don't like the chances there. 44% chance of beating Oklahoma on the road. 41% chance of beating Texas on the road. By the way, Texas got a big win, giving Ole Miss a quad 1 right now as they moved inside the top 30 after Saturday. We'll look at the scores in a minute. But that was there. They got Tennessee at home coming up. Not a gimme. 44% chance in that one.
Not the way Tennessee defends.
Yeah. And then Ole Miss, they have a 39% chance of beating the Rebels tomorrow night. 61% chance for Ole Miss tomorrow night. But Kentucky, they don't put pressure on you defensively, so teams don't turn the ball over when they aren't stealing it directly. Like there's no just sort of, hey, you forced a bad pass here. Kentucky almost dead last in the country at that. They were 364th in the country in non-steal turnovers.
Wow.
Meaning they do not press you at all.
Well, look, when your path to winning is, hey, let's light up the 3-point line.
Some nights you look like gangbusters.
Yeah, there are going to be nights you do it, right?
Yeah.
But there's nights you don't.
Their turnover percentage defensively, meaning forcing turnovers, period, 341st nationally. They don't shoot free throws well. They're almost 200th in the country shooting free throws.
Graham with the fascinating quote here, though. 6-1 versus top 25 teams. I assume that means ranked teams.
They played a competition.
Yeah. Tomorrow night's interesting in so many ways.
They played a competition. That's what they did.
You know, it's because I wrote in 10 Weekend Thoughts, this is going to be a Kentucky team with hurt feelings. So I don't know whether they come out sulky or angry.
It's a tough few days for Pope to kind of get them.
Well, travel down here today. I mean, you
travel down here today. You got a road game. You're not really supposed to win. You got what should be a gimme on Saturday back at Rupp. Carolina hasn't quit, but they're not going to win at Rupp on Saturday.
I wouldn't think. It'd be fun. Be fun to watch.
Ole Miss announced, had it here, how many attendance? 9,900? Yeah, 99,2074 Saturday. That included some students that kind of got in around the gun, but so a little over 10,000 on that. I expect another, obviously, good crowd tomorrow. 6 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
6, yep.
6 o'clock tomorrow for the Rebels and the Wildcats. So we'll continue the basketball talk in a second. If we do that, I will tell you about Citizens Bank. You're not just an account number, but a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, and maybe you know the mortgage space now at the Citizens Bank and ready to help you with the real estate goals. 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E for now. Got a groundbreaking coming. Discuss your options with Whit. You can head on in, and while you're there, you can ask about the School Spirit debit cards. They donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. All you got to do is get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, And he's going to give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387 or Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. So schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You have nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. It's Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl week. If you're getting stocked up on your beer that goes with those wings and sliders and queso and whatnot, I suggest Parrish Brewing Company. Look for Ghost in the Machine, Envy, Dr. Juice. You got Cane Break coming out soon. Even more products wherever you get your beer, grocery store, whatever the case may be. Look for Parrish Brewing Company. You'll be glad you did.
Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. So to learn more or register for service, visit AnySpark.com. AnySpark, get connected, stay local. Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, it is a weird resume. They've had a lot of opportunities. Kentucky's always going to play a tough schedule. They have a loss to Clemson. They have a loss to Ohio State, and then they lost in Athens, lost at home to Alabama in a hell of a game, 102-97. Hit up against the Crimson Tide, and then, as we mentioned, the Vanderbilt loss and the Arkansas loss. But yeah, the wins: Tennessee, Texas A&M, Mississippi State on the road, Florida at home, over the Gators.
Yeah.
Louisville, which has become a big win for everybody. They just keep bounding on up there.
Yeah.
And in the standings, they have a win over Gonzaga. I don't know how Gonzaga is, but they probably don't suck.
No, they're good.
Whenever Duke.
Is it Kentucky who beat Duke?
Yeah.
How?
77-72. On November the 12th.
Oh, okay.
Third game of the year.
That explains it.
You would like the Blue Devils' chances now.
Yeah.
One team has gotten better.
Hey,
one hasn't.
Those Cats.
Yeah, Kyle. It's a hooded sweatshirt I have on.
Yeah, I'd love to watch Duke and Auburn on a neutral site right now.
You might get to.
Be fascinating.
You might get to.
I'd watch.
I'd
have more interest in that than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Keeping it real. I mean, I'd make some queso for that one.
This Ken Palm now has Auburn only projected to lose 2 conference games in a league that's supposed to get 13 teams in. If you get 13, though, that means somebody with 7's getting in.
Did you see the end of Arkansas' schedule?
No.
It's the one thing that might kind of give them a little hope is if they can just breathe.
So
the end of their schedule's got some dubs in it if they're playing well.
Ken Palm has them at 6-12, but as you mentioned, they have what is essentially 5 toss-ups to end the season.
Yeah.
So if you could get hot.
Yeah.
Now, some of your problem is that you can't go 2-8. You're 2-6 right now, and you have 2 very difficult games the next 2.
No, they've got to figure out a way
and
to
then
win.
It kind of like
they've got to win one this week, and if
they're in Austin and they play Alabama at home,
they've got to win one of those 2 games. I mean, crazier things have happened in the league this year. I'm not here making the case for Arkansas. I'm just pointing out if they got any momentum, the way that their season ends, they could get hot. They've got very winnable games down the stretch.
LSU at home, at A&M, at Auburn, and then the stretch. Missouri at home, Texas at home, at South Carolina, at Vanderbilt, State at home.
Yeah, I mean, they could finish 5-0.
It's right there.
So it's just 5 would give them 7. If they could win one of those other games, that's 8. They're in because their non-con was really good. They got a win over Michigan. Their net today is 47.
Arkansas.
Yeah, hell, they're bubbly now.
Almost 23 in the net currently. They are 5-6 against quad 1, 3-0 against quad 2, 1-0 against quad 3, and 7-0 against quad 4.
Ole Miss just has to win 3 more conference games. And they're in.
Whatever 3 you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Take 3. Had some blowouts on Saturday in the SEC. Almost one of the closer games. Alabama in Tuscaloosa wrecked Mike White and the Bulldogs 90-69 there in Tuscaloosa on Saturday.
Alabama's good.
It's getting late early for Georgia, too. They got to be real careful before it gets out of hand.
Yeah. Alabama's really good at home. I mean, that win for Ole Miss is so big on your resume. God, it's just like this big, sparkling, beautiful thing.
The North Star just sitting there.
Just, isn't that lovely?
Well, I mean, it's one of the best 5 national wins this season.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure somebody else got something, but
no,
that's one of them.
I'm not.
I don't know the whole league and who beat who, but
no,
sure.
it's a big time win.
Tennessee beat the hell out of Florida on Saturday, 64-44, without 2 starters on Saturday. 64-44, just choked them out. Florida scored 21 in the first half and 23 in the second half. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, when that team gets locked in on defense.
Arkansas, as we mentioned, 89-79 over Kentucky. By the way, Tennessee 5-4 in the SEC, Florida 5-3 at this point. Georgia 3-6 is why I said that. Just kind of looks funny for the Dogs right now.
Tennessee is 4, Florida 5 in the net as of yesterday.
So they're 4 in the net at 5-4 in the league.
That's correct.
Okay. A&M goes on the road and knocks off South Carolina 76-72. And look, Carolina has no idea how to win a basketball game, but they are in every damn one of them at home.
Yeah.
That's what's scary if you're Ole Miss is going, you got to play well because they have not thrown the towel in yet.
Oh, they've played hard.
I mean, they're just right there going and going and going. Now, again, they are 0-9 in the SEC and now 10-12. And their net is starting to get away from them a little bit. It's still okay. It's fine. It's 93, I think, as of this morning.
It was 92 yesterday.
It's okay. But
you need it to stay in the top 100.
Yeah, that could get a little funny. Missouri hit every 3 they looked at in Starkville on Saturday and beat Mississippi State 88-61 at the hump. Just one of those days. We talk about it, and it was a little bit of a matchup, and it was just Missouri hitting every damn thing.
We're not giving that team enough credit.
They're really good.
I don't know why we're not giving Dennis Gates and that team more credit than they deserve. They deserve a lot of credit. I mean, they are right now 21 in the net. They're a lock for the NCAA tournament, an absolute lock.
They shot 55% from the field and 47% from 3.
But they're getting themselves open looks by playing offense.
Mm-hmm.
And State's getting into that habit of getting really reliant on Hubbard, and it's not going great. At all.
Yeah, 24.
How many shots did he take? Do you know?
I can look. Hold on. Let's see. State, Hubbard. Oh no, he was calm. 7 of 13.
Oh, okay. That's pretty efficient.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a problem. He didn't shoot enough.
Maybe he needs to shoot more. I don't know.
Keyshawn Murphy for them went 6 of 8 from the field off the bench. Matthews 3 of 5. Woko, or whatever his name is, went 0 for 5 from the field in 17 minutes.
What'd Riley Kugel do?
0 for 5 from the field.
There you go.
0 for 2 from 3.
It was Kugel that beat Ole Miss that day. Yeah.
No, 0 for 5. Again, basketball.
Yeah, Grind says SEC Coach of the Year for Gates.
It's hard to argue.
Today, I think I agree.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
I mean, this is where I don't like punishing Pearl for having a good team. He recruited good team. So is it Coach of the Year or is it overachieving Coach of the Year? Which is it? I'm cool with either one, but just tell me what the rules are.
If Auburn goes like 17-1 in this league, I'm just having a hard time not giving him the damn trophy.
Well, and he recruited the players. I mean, it's not like
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that would be giving Saban the trophy every single year.
Well, sometimes I thought he deserved it when he didn't get it, if I'm honest.
And is there a difference? Is it our coach of the year versus recruiter of the year?
Well,
I don't know.
And when you're right now, when you're Auburn, you get everybody's best shot. Everybody's jacked for you. From an environment standpoint, Tuesday night's going to be the challenge for Ole Miss. And I think they're going to answer it. I really do. I think it's going to be crazy in there.
But yeah.
Saturday was crazy. Now you got to come do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma 97-67 over Vanderbilt. Sooners starting to come to life a little bit. Playing well at home, doing okay.
Yeah.
They're in good shape. 3-5 in the SEC, but
they're
all
fine.
right. They're okay. They got to play 500 ball the rest of the way.
They've got a 38 net.
They're okay.
They'd make the tournament today.
And then Texas, coming off that loss to Ole Miss in Oxford, they went to Baton Rouge and popped the Tigers 89-58 over LSU. LSU 1-7 now in the SEC. Texas 4-5, and as we mentioned, I think the net went up to 25.
Texas was 25 yesterday. Okay. LSU fell to 75. I'll give you the hot take. I think Saturday night in Tiger at Maravich or whatever they call it, I think that is as close to must win or a road game as you're going to get for Ole Miss.
You think that is a more of a road game than or necessary road win than Carolina?
No, I think you need to win them both. But yeah, LSU might be
ready to quit
a little bit. Not quit. That's not the right word, but where you just begin to realize that you're not going to win.
You're on deflation watch.
Yeah. They don't have enough. I mean, Carolina's got a lottery pick in there potentially. I mean, he's good. LSU's just athletic, but they don't really have scorers.
Tuesday night, next to the Kentucky Ole Miss game, you got Oklahoma at Auburn, so they'll take their shot at Neville on Tuesday evening.
It's a free shot.
Just go play. But 3-6, the schedule starts getting to you a little bit there.
Got to start winning.
Vanderbilt at Florida, so the Gators can get healthy coming off that. It's not a good spot for the boys from Nashville on Saturday, on Tuesday.
That practice today in Gainesville is going to have probably some choice language.
Missouri is in Knoxville on Wednesday night. It's a good game.
Oh,
that one just put a little check by that one. Now I like that
kind of free shot for the Tigers a little bit.
Arkansas at Texas, as previously mentioned.
It just doesn't feel like a game they can win.
Feels like Texas is about to win this basketball game.
But I mean, look, if you're Arkansas and you can channel what you got Saturday, then obviously that's a challenge. But if you can, who knows? They're capable of winning a game like that.
And then LSU in Georgia.
It's just absolute. You have no choice if you're Georgia but to win the game. Period. The end.
And they will.
And they should.
Yeah, I mean, Missouri went 0-18 last year in the SEC.
Yeah. I mean, it's a remarkable accomplishment. And they've got some really good wins. Kansas, I mean, they've got good wins.
They've had a good athletic year in general. Obviously, football was good again. They got basketball turned around, and their AD she's from Arizona, right? And then
no, the AD at Memphis is the guy from.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes, he's very sharp.
Yeah, that's right. Where did the AD was at Arizona go? Anyway,
you're thinking of the one that left Missouri to go to Arizona.
Oh, went to Arizona.
She was kind of forced out.
So yeah, so the guy, his messaging, and I guess I'm just crediting U of M's with messaging here in the last couple weeks. So like Memphis as a guy last week, but it's the only AD that I have seen, and I read a lot every day trying to get ready for the podcast, that has admitted that while the deficits and the money in the athletic department really, really matters, and you got to find more, that the university having to help is not a bad thing because they're all under the same roof. And he has had the best clear messaging on why have we, and it was the chancellor, not the AD, so that's why I didn't remember his name. It was the chancellor that came out, or the president of Missouri, so whatever, I'm sure you're great too, AD, but I'm talking about the president, that said they're a huge part of our marketing, a huge part of who we are. They're the front door of the university, so if they have a deficit, we just cover it because it's just another line item. Why are we not looking at this as a university-wide budget and simply how do we cover all facets of so instead of singling out the athletic department to pay for itself, because it was never supposed to do that anyway. So why are we putting that judgment on them at this moment? And he has a damn good point, especially in today's world.
Yeah.
Because that's different than should this be the case? We're good. Should this be the case? That's a great gif. I'll get in a second, but
I'm not worried about
it's
it.
water.
It's just
not,
water.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I would have outed myself had I had whiskey in here this morning and just knocking it out.
Nah, nobody would know. It might be vodka for all I know.
That's a good point. But it's true. I mean, you can talk about whether that should be the case and should they whatever, and maybe they should, but they don't, and they're not going to. Everybody's taking some university assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri took $40 million. That's a lot now. But here's the catch. It was a lot because they were already kind of doing revenue sharing. Missouri had gone farther than anyone else in the country at letting the athletics department pay for the players.
Yeah.
That's why they had a $40 million deficit.
Yeah.
Probably why Ohio State, to some level, had a $37 million deficit. Now, one of theirs was they didn't have 7 home games. They had 6. But
no,
I'm assuming that factored into
that's a lot of that, right? I mean, you've got Missouri got ahead of it. Now, you can argue whether it's good or not, whether it's sustainable or not. I'm not doing that today. I don't want to.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, if this is what you're going to do, sure. I mean, at some point, you got to get the money from somewhere. And I don't think taking the money from fans, I will say this, I do not believe, based on everything I hear from talking to multiple people, I know no one in intercollegiate athletics who thinks that is sustainable. No one. I know no one who thinks, oh, yeah, the
10, 12 years. And
the fans for a decade, 2 decades will just keep ponying up. I mean, look at the pushback last week at Ole Miss on and this isn't a criticism. It's just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the pushback on the Grove stuff. I mean, that wasn't a tremendous amount of money. I'm not minimizing the amount of money, but it wasn't like Ole Miss went, all right, $10 million to tailgate, right? It was just, hey, we're going to raise it $150. It's going to be per tent. It's going to impact this. And everybody was like, whoa. So what you saw in that, very clearly, in fact, it was a pretty good thought experiment, is that there is a ceiling where fans go, that's all I can do. So you're going to have to get the money somewhere else.
And that release came out on Friday. What they ended up doing is charging vendors $100 per tent if you do the whole season. $150 for each single game is what the final number came out on that. Just for anyone who's been under a rock the last 3 days or so at that point. Yeah, Grimes' team rankings bracketology has almost 100% chance of receiving a bid. I mean, as of right now, every analytic points to that. They're not anywhere near the bubble. I mean, it's not even in a. Frankly, if Ole Miss didn't have the history it had, you wouldn't be talking about this right now. You'd be going, hey, what seed are they and how do they get more?
Yeah.
Can they run a 4-1 in these next 5 and just run it up? I mean, that would actually be the conversation you'd be having right now.
It's kind of the conversations I am having right now. I mean, win 2 games this week and you're 7-3 and you start talking about, okay, well, how do you get into the 4-5 range?
Mm-hmm. Double bye is still there. Well, how do you do that? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah.
No, that's all the questions. I mean, it's just where they are. So, all right, tell you about the Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom. It's located on the Ole Miss campus, and they aim to explore and examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. They offer an academic minor in freedom studies, scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students that bring along lots of networking potential. To learn more, contact Rankin Shirley. It's freedom@olemiss.edu or independence.olemiss.edu.
We're also brought to you by Easy Hemp Co. Easy is a hemp-infused sparkling water. It's a guilt-free alcohol alternative, a natural way to relax and unwind. I wanted to say rewind. Relax and unwind. It's all natural, made with real fruit, no added sugar, low-calorie, gluten-free. 1 12-ounce can of Easy has 3 milligrams of THC. With Easy, it's easy to avoid the gummy scare and control your experience. So change the can, not the ritual. It's easy. Visit easyhempco.com to view the Easy Finder to find Easy near you. Easy is Farm Bill compliant with hemp derived from THC, CBD extracts. It's for people 21 and older. Enjoy responsibly. I'll have a mailbag to you on Wednesday. It's brought to you by my friend Art Hayes at Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you as a licensed agent with Sotheby's International Realty and a supporter of all things Ole Miss. Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. Call 612-805-5929 or email art@arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have one final edition of Neal's Picks to you later this week. I don't know, Saturday, Sunday, at some point. It's brought to you by Kaiser Flooring with locations in Oxford and Batesville. Kaiser Flooring provides outstanding quality flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. Kaiser Flooring carries the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. Their goal is to offer amazing, durable flooring products, superior services to make your life easier. Kaiser installs your flooring quickly, delivers the best flooring experience possible. To learn more, go to kaiserflooring.com or call them in Oxford or Batesville.
Podcast is brought to you by the Men's Clinic, Madison and Brandon. Their goal is simple. They want their patients to remain as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process. They do this by optimizing testosterone, improving sleep, reducing inflammation, treating insulin resistance, and facilitating a healthy gut microbiome. In Madison, 601-607-7869 or Brandon, 769-241-9012. Make an appointment today. It's themanthing.com. So Nebraska saying that they're likely just canceling their spring football game for spring because of all the tampering and putting other guys on film.
Why would you play it?
Yeah, I got no problem with canceling it. I get it. I mean, I can sit here and sort of mourn the fact that that's where we are and that's the reason. And look, spring football is stupid. I'm not defending spring football, but it's also dumb that we have come to this place where you can't play an exhibition game because of this.
Here's the one thing I'll say.
It also is a lack of creativity because why don't you just pull off something like Ole Miss? Like, why are we just?
Yeah. Well,
it's a little bit of I'm making a statement and taking my ball and going home more than if I'm his PR guy, I go, is that really the way we want to do this?
Well, here's the thing. I'll do this. It is something that some fans look forward to.
100%.
And so it's yet another thing that you're taking away from fans. Now, I understand it. But
if because you're exactly right. If you keep taking away everything, why are we not just simulating the damn games? Why are we even playing them? I mean, like, we're just like.
If we do that, can we do it at 11 a.m.? I'm kidding. It's a joke. Ha. Funny. No, I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. But I don't blame Nebraska or anybody else for going, we're not doing it. Listen, it's a matter of time before spring football as a whole goes away and they go to an NFL-style mini-camp model. You have become professional football, well, then follow the model that works. The NFL doesn't have spring training. They just have mini-camps. They do. They don't have spring training. 15 practices in March.
But you're right. People build entire weekends around the spring football game.
Sure.
It's when sometimes you have the big concert. You have all these different things. There's a reason why those exist in the way that they exist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing. I completely agree. You're taking something away from a segment of the fan base that loves it. But you're doing it because if you play the game, yes, everyone will watch that game. They will see guys on film that aren't going to play for you, and they'll offer them money. And you can't really say anything about it because you're tampering with their roster too. It's the end of that.
The whole thing just made me tired. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tired of talking about it.
I don't mean that. It's just all gross. Like, it makes me feel bad.
Yes.
Physically. Just go.
It's dumb.
It sucks. Like,
it's dumb.
It's really dumb.
That's the word. It's dumb.
Probably do a little more of this tomorrow because we'll need the content probably leading into Kentucky and Ole Miss tomorrow. Let me phrase it this way. Obviously, a lot of everybody talking about Luka and AD in the trade from the Lakers and the Mavs.
Yeah. Big trade last night, too.
Yeah. If it was guaranteed and they knew it was guaranteed that he was not going to re-sign after 26, Luka.
Okay.
Even in that circumstance, does it make sense? you still should try to open market it to see what deals you could get, correct?
Yeah, it was inexcusable what the Mavericks did.
Okay, why did they do it?
Unforgivable.
But why?
I don't know.
If you're their GM, you obviously know this. He's not an idiot.
All right, maybe.
Well, okay, but you know what I mean. In theory, he would know, hey, I should at least shop around and see what the best. Why would you just go, nope, right there, done?
I mean, to finish the point about him being an idiot, I don't know. I think I can make the argument right now that he very well might be an idiot.
Okay.
I mean, that was one of the worst press conferences I've ever watched in my entire life. The trade's stupid. He's 25 years old. He's a generational talent. You're worried about his conditioning. All right, number one, dude just took you to the NBA Finals.
He did.
He beat, who'd they beat before Oklahoma City? They beat Oklahoma City and Minnesota to get to the NBA Finals. And so they beat somebody before that. I don't remember who. Clippers, maybe? I don't know. So he won you a bunch of playoff games. He made you a lot of money. He is 25 years old. He is inarguably one of the best 5 players in the NBA. You don't shop him around? Supposedly called one other team which said no. I mean, I'd like to know who that team was.
Clippers, OKC, Minnesota.
Okay, so yeah, you beat 3 really good teams.
You beat the 4, the 1, and the 3.
You beat 3 really good teams. He got you to the NBA Finals, and you lost to Boston in a year where everybody was going to lose to Boston. It was just their year.
Yeah, Boston went 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-0, 4-1.
Yeah,
sorry, 1-1, 0-1.
So 16-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And then you trade him, and you only get 1 draft pick back. You move some things around, Maxi Kleber and some of that stuff, Markieff Morris. You move some people around, but you basically, it's Anthony Davis and a pick. Anthony Davis is 31 years old. Now, if you want to argue, and I don't think this is an argument that holds up. But if you want to argue that Anthony Davis in Dallas this year makes the Mavericks a bigger playoff contender to win the title than they were before the trade, I'll play along. Davis gives you, along with Gafford and Lively, he gives you a really big, deep front line. He lets you play P.J. Washington at the 3. You still have Clay. You still have Kyrie. I mean, sure. But you just traded away one of the most dominant playoff players in NBA history. I mean, every single night in a playoff game, Luka is capable of going 40+. Every single night. You have to put your best defender on him. He stresses you. You spend a lot of time worrying about him. He gets to the free throw line. He makes shots. He's big. He does so many things. I'm kind of like Ryan Russillo. The whole conditioning thing, that's BS. That guy could score points smoking a cigarette out there. I don't understand it. Now, the people that go, well, the league forced this was some league thing to get, I don't agree with that. I don't think the league does that. That's you're getting into the real conspiratorial stuff at that point. But if you're the Lakers, you weren't winning anyway. The Lakers were not winning the West anyway. Now you have a face. You have a path, a clear path in a post-LeBron era that you did not have on Friday.
In a place you absolutely can get free agents because they want to play with Luka and play in L.A.
Yeah.
Very marketable place.
Oh, I mean, if you're the Lakers, the moment that got offered, you were like, get the attorneys on the phone. Let's get this done before the drugs wear off. I can't believe Dallas did it. I wrote this on the message board. I woke up Sunday morning and looked at my phone. Carson was in New Orleans over the weekend. He had texted me at 11:30 something with, holy shit. And then, did you see that? And then Luka just got traded. And so I woke up and I was like, he's trolling me. He's messing with me. He was messing with me last night to see if he could
get you moving. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I start looking at my phone and I'm like, oh my God. It's hard.
Well, it's like, what was it?
It's hard to stun me.
I saw whoever reported it and they had video of it the night it happened that Devin Booker, somebody said, hey, Luka got traded. And he went, Luka Garza?
Luka Garza, yeah.
Because he never even pressed his mind that it would be Doncic. So it was like.
No. I mean, can you imagine the Lakers' reaction where at whatever point someone said, well, what would you think about Luka? I mean, I'm sure they thought, well, he's not touchable.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want? Our whole franchise?
And then multiple people that are legitimately good NBA reporters reported that Luka Doncic had not told the Mavericks that he would not resign. He had not. That's the kind of thing that would have leaked out because they would have wanted to damage his reputation in Dallas. But if you've decided you're going to trade 25-year-old Luka Doncic, and the whole fat thing, he's not that fat. It's not like he's out there looking like Zion. He's played a lot of basketball. I mean, he played 100 games last year. It's that you wouldn't shop that around? It's unbelievable to me. I'm floored.
Territory part of this that obviously doesn't really matter to NBA teams. They have plenty of money. Is the amount of I had a group text on this morning with a couple of buddies that are pretty high up in their respective sports areas, and they were talking about the amount of money it takes to change all the signage and marketing and things. Like if you're in Dallas, where Luka was your complete face and everything that he was involved in every way. And it's well into the seven figures is an estimate on like what it just simply takes to rebrand.
And who do you brand?
Everything
now?
From posters in the locker room all the way to everything. I mean,
you're branding Anthony Davis, whose nickname is Street Clothes. Anthony Davis? Really good player. He's an all-star.
Changing their ceiling on the year?
I mean, yeah. It potentially, look, if you believe in Kyrie and Clay, sure. If you believe that everybody stays healthy and that Lively comes back healthy, is it possible that they become such a dominant team on the post and stuff? Sure, maybe. But someone's going to have to score those playoff points that Luka scored. Maybe it's Kyrie. Maybe it is. Still got to get through at some point. I mean, look, right now they're the 8? They got to get through the play-in.
Oklahoma City.
Potentially
Denver.
you got to get through Oklahoma City. You got to get through Denver, Clippers, Houston, Memphis, some combination thereof. You're going to do it now without Luka Doncic. Fascinating. The other trade, by the way, the Spurs are just a great organization. Just you get De'Aaron Fox and you basically give up nothing. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. I mean, kudos. De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. It won't happen this year, but that is going to be a combination that will have to be dealt with in the NBA. They will be really, really good.
I mean, you're right. They're not winning a title this year or anything, but they are only 2 out of the play-in. I mean, they could at least be a factor.
Yeah,
the rest of the way in the thing. Dallas is the 9 seed as of right now. They are a game. They are tied with the Suns for the 8, but they don't have the tiebreaker. So essentially, the 8-9 game.
Yes, I mean, if you're Dallas, it's conceivable that you'd have to go to Phoenix, win a game.
And even if you get hot as a damn firecracker the rest of the way, and it just works like gangbusters and it's perfect, you're still only getting to about the 5. I mean, that's like perfect scenario.
I don't think they get to the 5.
Yeah. I mean, that's passing Phoenix. That's passing Minnesota. Frankly, it's trying to catch the damn Lakers, who were the 5
Well,
seed
I mean, there's 5 teams in the West. In no particular order, Oklahoma City, Memphis, Houston, the Clippers, and Denver that are legitimate contenders.
Now, the Clippers are a game back of the Lakers today.
Yeah. I still – when Kawhi's healthy, they're a beast. Now, he's never healthy, but –
Oklahoma City currently with a 6-game lead in the conference. Memphis the 2 as of today.
Trade deadline is Thursday. Still some names out there. Cam Johnson, some other guys that are out there. I don't know who does what. Thunder are just trying to get healthy. They're trying to get Chet back. Saw him dunk in practice the other day.
Detroit Tigers hired, they signed Jack Flaherty. If he's good again, I like their rotation. Detroit's kind of fun.
Yeah, got him on kind of a good deal, too. 2 for $38, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, good deal for them.
A lot of Alex Bregman rumors out there today. Possibly going back to Houston.
Oh, really?
Cubs involved. Detroit's involved. I wonder how much juice is left in Alex Bregman's tank. He's still a good player.
How old is he?
Like 30? He was a 4.5 WAR last year, I think.
Oh.
Don't hold me to that. I've read some stuff.
So you thought the Cubs might be in it. You read some stuff.
Basically.
Okay,
Well, people reported that the Cubs are in it. I think it was one of the big national guys said the Cubs were maybe the team to watch. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense with all the Cubs budget stuff, but whatever. It's not my money.
The Mavs only lost by 43 last night. So, I mean, they were right there.
Well, here's the thing. Can you imagine being Jason Kidd if the reports are true? You're the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, have been for a while. Luke has been on your team. You did not know that they were discussing a trade with involving Luka Doncic until after the deal was done? You've got to walk in the locker room as presumably a voice of authority, and everybody in that locker room looks at you like you didn't know. No shit. I mean, I actually turned that game on a little bit yesterday afternoon just to watch body language, and it was bad.
Yeah.
Now, Cleveland's really good. The game was at Cleveland, and Cleveland played well, but give me a break. They got blown out in the first half. They didn't want to be there because you have to be looking around the room going, wait a minute, you didn't know?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? Kyrie didn't know? Seriously?
Tease this a little for tomorrow because we're basically done for today. But Vanderbilt, we're speaking of SEC getting teams in. We'll look a little more at the big picture. There's a story on ESPN where they have opposing coaches giving pros and cons of sort of the bubble teams and what they like and don't like. And
Okay.
I want to go over it some tomorrow. It's a really good story, ESPN.com. If you want to read it ahead of time, do a little homework. But Vanderbilt, that's from a matchup standpoint, one that I think Ole Miss can get. They match up really well with the Commodores the way they play because the case against Vanderbilt includes these quotes from an opposing coach. If you don't turn it over, you score on them. They gamble. They don't have any rim protection. They want to get out in transition and turn you over, and that's where they get their points. It's all turnovers and three-point line. They're not super athletic, and so that's where we could get them. Is we did a ton of pick and roll.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty advantageous.
Yeah, that's a good matchup for Ole Miss if you're just looking at down the road and where you're trying to pick off games. But they are discussing Vanderbilt's in this, Louisville's in this, some other teams.
They discuss Ole Miss in there?
No, because they're not in the bubble. This is kind of like semi-bubble teams.
Gotcha.
And where it's going. Vanderbilt, there's the real case. Vanderbilt's only favored in one of their final 8 games.
Oh. Isn't that funny? We think of Ole Miss as on the bubble, and the
country's not
just because we've covered it for a while.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, no, they're not in this.
Yeah. Whenever anybody argues with me, I always just give them the same number. I've been on this beat for 17 years. I've covered 5 NCAA tournament games. Stop. Leave me alone. I've watched Ole Miss teams not make it.
And maybe it's not bubble, is it? It's cases for like teams that are surprising this year, that have bounced back and they're much better than last year, but do they have staying power or not? Or is it just is it South Carolina from last year that's going to fold like a 10 at some point? Yeah. That's the story.
I mean, Ole Miss kind of folded last year.
They did, yeah. So
Ole Miss does not look like a folding team this year.
They don't. We'll hit those things tomorrow. Again, to Ole Miss, Kentucky tomorrow night, 6 o'clock from the Pavilion here in Oxford. Big game for the Rebels. So rebelgrove.com, MPW Digital, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.